So it matters so much that they can't afford to lose it.
Very true. Now, BDS smashed Virtus.pro in Stage 1 of the EU League, but then VP won in the rematch in the European Grand Final in Stage 2 and stole the SI points away from BDS that they would have needed to secure Six Invitational. One win each means that this is a grudge match and a score settler. And it's also for a spot here on the main stage in Atlanta.
Consulate is going to be the first battlefield that we play on between these two teams. It isn't one of the maps that they actually played in the grand final against each other, so we're seeing these two teams play on each other, against each other fresh for the first time on this map, and the ban phase is going to fly by us ever so slowly, but Dokkaebi and Finka being taken out does mean that all your hard breach has slipped its way in, but one set of grenades being taken out. I'm not sure exactly what to read into that. It is a Virtus.pro ban. It makes me think like maybe they want to ban out like a Renshiro ban or something, since he's been trying to lean into the Finka, but like, I mean, Sledge is up, you know. I'm not sure exactly what was taken out of there, but I don't want to read too much into it.
One interesting note that the guys on the desk were talking about is how Joystick from Virtus.pro has really struggled to deliver this event. He's one of the best fraggers, one of the best players of all time, but since Yana was nerfed, losing her grenades, he's had to try and play these other operators like Finka and Gridlock, and he's actually really struggled this tournament. He's -5 on entry, I think he's -15 or something like that on kills. Maybe Virtus.pro are like, look, if Joystick can't play it well, we may as well get rid of it.
Interesting. I actually quite like that take. I think that might be the right one, to be honest. If you cannot play it yourself, you may as well take it away from your enemies. And as we jump straight into the game, you can see immediately Joystick actually jumping onto the Ashe. When you look at the lineup of the attack at the moment, there isn't a single grenade in the lineup.
Well, Ashe is a fantastic operator for your fraggers, especially if you're used to that old Yana role, because it's the exact same gun. G36C with the 1.5 times scope. Ashe, in a way, even better for fragging because she's slightly faster. However, the loss of the nades is the big weakness over the old Yana or Finka, for example, or even a Knock. But I think for Joystick, you just want him to be able to have those multi-kills, have those backstabs, have those lurk impacts. So I think this is the right choice for VP, especially on the basement where you might not need nades for vertical kills.
I agree with that. Get comfy and see what you can go with. That's the VP way. They like to run at you with their own game. They really play into their own strengths, and I think putting Joystick on something that he's comfortable with is probably the right move. That being said, looking at their attacking lineup right now, it does look like they are leaning into something a little more direct, going straight into the bomb site. Shepard on that Monty is going to be the one with the diffuser in hand, in tandem with Dan, trying to work this wall early.
Very frequently we see teams open up this wall and then rotate away. Perhaps the Monty is suggesting something different. If not a direct push, at least a hint of one. The threat that Virtus.pro could be on site in mere moments.
Oh, Mirror Window, though, is going to face the onslaught as it comes through. It is Joystick, the spear of the push, who makes his way on in, but shut down by Renshiro.
In fact, it seems like all of Virtus.pro has been shut down. They drop one by one. A nice attempt at an execute from VP. They had the Capitão's fire and smokes ready to try and counter this push, but it did not work, and the vertical superiority from Shaiko will completely shut down Dan. All up to Always now, with 4 kills yet to find, and he doesn't have that diffuser either. There's information for him based on Shaiko getting that kill earlier, but Always has a hint that there might be another player. Speaking of info, there's BDS spotting him out, and Leakafak will surely secure this kill.
Yeah, it's all down to Always now, and it seems like the eyes of BDS are trained on his position, but really I just feel like this is a BDS round through and through. They had a pretty good read, I would say, on the direct attack that was coming through. They immediately recalled a lot of those plays back into the bomb site the moment that Renshiro saw the wall being opened and all the utilities start flooding through. It just felt like BDS collected themselves very fast into that early round and shut them down.
Yeah, very versatile for BDS. Ready for anything, which is important on a map like Consulate, which is so huge and has so much potential for the attackers to get quick map control. It means you have to contest that roam game. But also, if you're all roaming and a site rush like what we saw from VP comes through, you need to be ready for that. BDS have demonstrated that they can juggle both of those tasks at the same time. And as a result, a very solid start to their defense.
BDS certainly happy with that one. I'm going to send us up into the top floor for the second bomb site and looking to make an extension over ever so slightly in towards the Soda hallway. That being said, it's not exactly aided by too much. It's not like a big Azami shield setup. So even though the extension is going to be a little bit light with 3 reinforcements dedicated over into break room, it's probably going to be a pretty early fall from these guys.
We've seen so much chaos go down on this admin side of the map around Break Room. Like the vertical lines of sight and the reinforcements being committed to by BDS here, making it very hard for Virtus.pro to establish a beachhead. And even if they are able to do so in admin, then progressing that beachhead further towards the bomb site will be extremely challenging. There's so many good power positions on the top floor for the defense to peel away.
Have a look at the lineup there on the side of the attack for Virtus.pro. Joystick's going to jump onto the Amaru, so looking for something fast-paced. Not just that, but it's also in tandem with Dan. Jumping onto the Ying as well, one of those disruptor operators as they make their way in through the map. One set of grenades this time around on Pasha, just in case they need that explosivity to clear anything out.
Yeah, what is this idea? Very execute-heavy operator lineup, like you said, but it's not telegraphed as of yet where that will end up flying through. I mean, Joystick, for example, on the Amaru has a lot of options for windows. Sheppy here on this main console window with Pasha to support, nades and track stingers in pocket. There is clearly some execute here prepared, and as we hear, the E1D goes out. Joystick goes straight on in and takes down Bride. He's looking for a second kill. It's all up to him to cover, but this plant will surely go down. There is no way for BDS to deny it. And now they must retake. Shepard's found one. A beautiful execute early in the round from Virtus.pro finds a significant advantage. However, Joystick is still in the site and can shut down not one, but two people for BDS. All up to Shaiko now. He sprung to life earlier and found a kill to take down Shepard, but he'll need a whole lot more than that. Joystick for the 4K. And a fantastic round from Virtus.pro.
Oh my god, Bride was not ready for that, man. He had a boot to the face the moment that the Amaru went in. I don't think we've ever seen an Amara Garahook kill in Pro League. Surely not, right? Like, when has that ever happened? That is absolutely nuts. From Joystick, no fear, jumps his way straight on in and slaughters the entire defense. 4 kills with the SMG-11. Like, could you ask for anything more?
We've talked about how Joystick has not been performing up to his standard in this tournament so far. If there's any time to fire up, how about in an elimination and main stage qualification game? Let's have a look from his POV. Bride thought he was ready for it. And we'll get to see all 4 of these kills from Joystick. 3 very clean shots with the SMG-11 after that gyro hook kill. Absolutely insane stuff.
That's nuts. What a round from Joystick, man. I mean, the rest of his team absolutely collapsed off the back of that, and BDS just could not deal with him, really. It was just sharpshooting. That second shot with the SMG-11 was so nice.
10 seconds
Oh,
to go.
wow. Good signs from VP with that successful rush. But we've actually seen 2 back-to-back rushes, Mandy. One failed and one successful. It makes you wonder, is this the tempo that VP is looking to set? Is this going to become a regularity? Because for many teams, a rush is a one and done. We try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Then we go back to playing normally. But judging by the operator lineup, this could be a regular occurrence in this game for VP.
No, but I reckon BDS on the other side, they've made the adaptation for it. They've got both the combination of the Melusi and the Fenrir now, and they've changed the bomb site into the ground floor as well. So any way in that Virtus.pro will try and claim of the map, or at least any way into the bomb site that they try and claim in, will certainly be heard by some of the passive intel that's been set out by BDS.
It does seem to be VPS looking to push in from this admin side of the map. We've got Pasha and Shepard there at the moment, but VP have a fairly separated attack with some players also loitering on the other side of the map, and Joystick with the gyro hook in pocket is always ready for an explosive push. But I think this is the right move, Mandy. VP need to get a little bit of map control, even if that is just admin.
Always does have the buck as well, so if they do actually make work of this top floor, he can get in and then start to tear up the floor with the skeleton key. But on the other side of the push that's happening at the moment is Bride and Leaky Pack doubling down in the soda hallway, but Pasha's going to force him back.
Good beachhead now established for VP on the back of Pasha, especially since he's got these air jabs, he can prevent any form of retake. But like we said before, BDS have a lot of power positions they can fall back onto. Quite a few VP players have now made their way forward very quickly. They've capitalized on this map control.
Renshiro holding on to long test as well is going to be the first point of contest for the defense at the moment, as he's looking to take these engagements of players just rounding the corner of the soda hallway. That being said, though, Joystick is on the other side of the bomb site, having to think about whether he can actually hit the bomb site at the moment. There is a player that's keeping him at bay on the other side as Flashbang's going to sail through, and Joystick's going to move in off the back of that.
Right into the side for Joystick, and under the cover of the sound from the Candelas, he finds Bride caught prone. And the entirety of BDS has been collapsed upon. It's up to Renshiro, or rather Alems, and he goes down very swiftly. Just Leakafak on the bottom floor, rather, as the players from VP have dropped down. They have cut him down. How about a flawless round? And another amazing execute from VP.
Yeah, another super clean clear of the top floor. It wasn't even the bomb site. They just decided to make this super explosive entry off the back of Joystick into the top floor with the space that they had gained over on admin side. And it was so explosive that even though BDS had the sort of like passive intel tools that they needed to deal with it, they were just not ready for it. They're completely caught off guard. Virtus Pro get the top floor control, and then at that point, it's a 1 versus 5. It's unwinnable for BDS.
It's a very scary playstyle to come up against, isn't it, Mandy? With VP so unpredictable. At a moment's notice, you could have 5 players rushing your direction.
It's quite a fun one to watch. I've certainly been enjoying it for VP. The thing I like the most about what they've been doing is that a lot of their ideas and things like that, especially where they're injecting Joystick into the building, is not that telegraphed. Like, yes, you can have all this set up from BDS, but in the end, if they don't have the right read on the one entry point that Joystick is going to be in, then they're not going to be able to shut him down. And I think the rest of Virtus Pro are doing just such a good job at distracting the remaining players of BDS to then allow Joystick into the building.
We were having a little bit of a chat with the rest of the talent team this morning, Andy, about Virtus Pro and how they make these calls. Who is it from the team that is just making these snapshot decisions and saying, okay, we're going to have Joystick quickly go in with the gyro hook through console while we're pushing from this angle? And Pasha was the name that came up, because while Shepard is an instrumental support player, as we can see with that beautiful shot he's just made, taking down not one, but both mirror windows with a single Twitch drone. He is a fairly quiet player, and it's actually Pasha who's being relied upon for a lot of this calling.
Really good value so far of Shepard on the back of the Twitch drones, and it does mean that Virtus Pro, even though they've actually lined themselves up to go for a map clear, they've got Joystick on the Jackal this time, so not as fast-paced as your Maru, but still, you know, looking to get that roam cleared down. Now with those 2 mirror windows open, they can have a think about the bomb site if they want to. That being said, it doesn't look like they're going to do it anyway. It looks like the rest of Virtus Pro are looking to pivot in towards the map clear.
Oh, Bride has opened the equation, however, and that's a good early advantage for BDS, and a much-needed one, taking down Dan, who's been pretty good so far. A well pre-placed C4. Not sure what the information to gather was based on that. Perhaps a Fenrir gadget, I'm not sure, but regardless, an early pick for the French.
With the hatch being open inside of Expo, they can't really hit the bomb site straight away, and so the rest of VP are having to think about whether they can actually clear the map. So there goes Pasha. Having opened up the wall, has now pivoted over to CEO to be the first set of boots in the building. Oh, but there goes Alems. Really nice shot onto Always as well to claim the second one.
Uh-oh, and there is a trade, however, with Pasha coming in from above. It's possible that Alems has done enough here. However, now that he's been traded, a 3v3 with both of the mirrors popped and a breach on the garage wall sets up VP in a really solid position to battle this out.
This is a really nice free cam as well. Very good. I can't remember who's on. Is it easy on the free cam only nowadays?
I'm not sure who's on.
I reckon that's pretty cool.
I don't think it's Stay Fun any longer.
Oh, it's Medics on free cam. Good job, Medics. Very nice. Okay, Shepard, he's really having to think about the bomb site now. He knows that these 2 mirror windows are open, so the rest of the defense has probably fallen a little bit further back than they would like to, or they're playing behind the safety of a soft wall, which is really quite vulnerable now to Pasha over in the top floor.
Oh, Shepard, he moves in. He's walking into a crossfire. Pasha drops the hatch. Here's a C4 for ya. A big one from Renshiro, who also claims the final life of VP. He's very hyped about that one. And BDS have stemmed the bleeding, and they've evened up the scoreline once again.
That's twice now in the basement that Virtus Pro haven't been successful at landing an attack, and BDS look pretty comfortable in their setup. Virtus.pro, I liked what they did, like put the pressure on the bomb site, you know, see if you can recall back any of the BDS players, but they knew that they had the safe haven of the ground floor with the hatch open and the vertical for Shaiko as well, and they just held on to that, allowed Virtus.pro to then go in for the map clear and just play the fall-off game back into the bomb site. And as they tried to make their execute work, they absolutely shut them down. Even with the mirror windows open, it is still a pretty lethal hole to take them down on.
Yeah, especially when BDS are so ready for those crossfires and when they're so proactive, things like the C4 from Renshiro really put the nail in the coffin for VP that round. That said, I've still really enjoyed watching these VP attacks, Mandy. I think they bring a certain spice and a certain energy that we see so rarely from teams in this current meta who are so careful on their attacks and so slow. It feels like so frequently we're looking at 4 versus 4s or 5v5s in the last 30-second with executes because the attack has to spend so much time clearing positions, taking map control, droning up areas, getting stuck because there's a Solace on the other side, and then eventually having to clear Fenrir gadgets or whatever there is. So I love the pace from VP.
Concert's the map to do it on as well. Like by the time that you hit inside the building, there's so much intricate drone work you need to do to make sure that the map is then clear as well. So if you're able to set the tempo like what Virtus.pro have done right at the beginning, it's certainly setting the tone of the game for BDS, who are going back into this top floor, have changed up their strategy a little bit. They have actually brought along the shield on Leaky back, and they've put it inside the, I believe it's in the soda hallway to then actually support this player inside. That's Renshiro on Luamai a little bit further as the sweep comes across from Virtus.pro. That being said, Virtus.pro, they're not going for that same like explosive attack like we've seen them do twice, but they're dialing it back a little bit and they're going for the slow clear across through admin.
Which is a nice idea, but Mandy, the concern for me is, like you were saying, all this setup from BDS will need to be cleared. And as soon as, for example, Renshiro starts to be pressured, he'll fall back and he'll just go play behind the shield. Once his shield gets taken down, he'll move back again and play behind the desk. So there's so many different options here for BDS, and VP have to make sure that they make regular progress in this round.
I actually don't mind this from BDS. Like, to be honest, maybe this is a bit overthinky from me, but I do feel like BDS in the last defense they had of this actually had the right read. That Virtus.pro were going to go for something more direct. They just couldn't land the shots because joystick is nuts, right? This time around, I think they've run into the fact that VP are dialing down the tempo a little bit, and this time they're bringing along the setup in the soda hallway that we didn't see last time. Now, that nade to sail on through, I believe, did destroy out the long bar, but not the shield that Renshiro's on. I could be wrong about that as well, but it does mean that some of that setup inside the soda hallway will remain standing as Virtus.pro make their way on in.
Now, Leakafak continues his roam down below. It looks like VP are not actively hunting him, but Dan is certainly considering it as he gets his boots in the building. Elsewhere, VP will have to have an impact breaking through this hallway because as of yet, they've failed to capitalize on Renshiro's position, who is still loitering around the front desk.
They've got the shield though. That's one step away for Virtus.pro as they start to entrench their way on through the building. Breeda's just taking a ton of damage, but it's Leaky back, taking a deal with Pasha on the other side.
Yeah, this is really dangerous now for VP as Leakafak's found a very advanced position. He needs to be traded swiftly. Dan was far too late, but he has clawed one back, taking down Brede. He will look to try and confirm this with the breaching round from the Ash, which is worth it in the end. But Dan is just relying on Shepard as his only remaining teammate, and Leakafak is in such a precarious position, hiding around the corner. It only takes a single pellet to finish off Shepard. Leakafak has single-handedly stolen this round from Virtus.pro, and he closes it with a nice close quarters shot with a shotgun. Fired up once again for BDS as they take the lead.
They're certainly starting to match the tempo of Virtus.pro in these attacks. They had these super fast-paced stuff to play against early on, but now that Virtus.pro are dialing it back a little bit, BDS know how to deal with it. And the setup that they had inside of the soda hallway, they held onto in the most absolutely relentless way. Even though the shield went down, Renshiro called, we still need people contesting this long desk position because the push is so linear. And then they called over 2 or 3 of those BDS players to come in and look for the swings on top of Visa stairs. There was a double swing that came out through the what's it called, like the meeting hallway, like the little meeting hallway, and they took the fight to Virtus.pro as they went in for the push through break.
And this was a real round-winning play for Leakafak. He comes back off of his roam and finds, in the end, I believe, 4 kills in the round, taking down Shepard here, and then, of course, the closer onto Dan as well, as we get that nice little free cam. Just look at the intensity. I like to think that I know a little bit of French, but I don't know what he's saying.
No, I've got no idea, not clue as well.
Hopefully some of the staff here, a lot of the staff here speak French. Hopefully someone can translate for us, because I would love to know. But the intensity from BDS, Mandy, to me is just a reflection of how high the stakes are in this game. Like we said, BDS lose here in this match to Virtus Pro. Not only do they fail to make main stage in Atlanta, but they fail to make the Six Invitational. And that is everything. In Rainbow Six, the one thing on your mind is always, will we be at the Six Invitational?
Here's BDS on their final defense, and they've sent us over to Tellers and Server. I believe it is the split bomb site for the defense, as Virtus Pro look to do a top floor clear for now. Opening up the meeting wall, seeing what they can get. There is a little bit of a setup going down inside of Break, although the resistance is not that much.
Shaiko's happy to loose roam, however. He will have to fall off sooner or later as Virtus Pro look to clear that map control, and indeed Dan is already upstairs. Nice early breach as well onto this hatch, but yeah, speaking of, doesn't matter, there's no Valkyrie. The C4 is perfect, takes down Dan and the IQ's utility with it. Here comes Joystick looking for one as well, but Alems takes that 1 versus 1, steals it away, and gives BDS a 2-player advantage.
Very nice from Alems. He must have known that there was a drone over on this side of the map. Being the soloist, he could aid his own intel and then identify the 1 versus 1 onto Joystick. Leaky back on the bottom here, still with the pulse in hand, is going to be able to inform the remaining 2 C4s down in the basement as well. That's Brede and Renshiro, both of them with C4s in hand. As Virtus Pro are going to need to be pretty careful as they move their way in through the top floor.
We had 2 amazing rounds from VP, especially that rush. And since then, BDS have completely turned it up. They've played very proactively. They have not let VP commit to the plan that they want to go for. And when BDS find these advantages, they just fall back.
Yeah, I mean, just have a look at how passive the rest of BDS are playing. Yes, the bomb site is on the ground floor, but almost all 5 players are on the basement right now. The only player that is actually on the ground floor at the moment is Shaiko, and he's just making sure that no one can get inside of Tells for free. The rest of them are just playing off the back of this intel. They don't want to give Virtus Pro anything because they know that the time is ticking away, and they have all the vertical pressure from down below. There are so many lines of sight and 3 C4s, or 2 C4s left for them to deal with it.
It's going to have to be a big impact now as VP drop down into the site. A straight-on jump, but another C4 lands, as does Shaiko's T5 with a quick headshot all up to Shepard now. Diffuser in pocket, and he finds the first pick of the round for his team. He'll need to do it all, however, for Virtus Pro. He can't even land that shot there onto Alems, who is keen to swing and will find that headshot as well. The French dominate the first half of defense despite some valiant heroics from Virtus Pro.
I gotta say, I love that bomb site. That bomb site is secretly my favorite one, the split one, because there are so many places that you can be as the defense. And yes, it is a tricky one to hold because you do need to hold on to a lot of the map. But I really liked the way that BDS played that, leaning into the vertical game. They knew that they had it, and they knew that the top floor players off the back of their early game success just needed to fall off, and that was it, really. I feel like off the back of the first 2 entry picks that came through from BDS, they just leaned into their strategy to close it out from there.
And here's that first C4. Like we were talking about, the Valkyrie ban does restrict a lot of information, but it certainly doesn't seem to restrict the amount of vertical C4s.
I mean, BDS banned their own Valkyrie.
Yeah, but they don't need it. They've got the pulse.
Yeah, really nice stuff. That being said, though, we do have a side swap, and Rainbow Six is the tale of 2 halves, as we like to say. And so we'll have to see if Virtus Pro can find the same success that BDS did on their defending half.
The scary thing for me is that Virtus Pro realistically only won rounds that were rushes, that were exciting mini executes or full-on executes in the mid-round.
5 seconds left.
And so we didn't see a single slow but sure push from VP that worked successfully. And I expect to see a lot more of that from BDS. They're much more of a team that will look for a tried and true approach rather than a high-risk, high-reward rush play. But it's consulate and anything can happen.
The thing that I enjoyed about BDS's defenses was that even though Virtus Pro set the tempo like right at the start, BDS then didn't like, you know, fall to that bluff. At Virtus Pro, they really dialed back their tempo in the second half of the attacking phase, but then BDS had the right adaptations in their setups to deal with a slow push. They had the right setups for exactly what Virtus Pro were bringing, and you would think that in that state where the mental residue of some of those rushes might, you know, persist a little bit, BDS show that it doesn't, and they have the good read against Virtus Pro.
Toxins in position.
Yeah, I do wonder what VP will do on these defenses. Will they play a slower game? Look to consolidate picks? Ooh, this is a bit dangerous. That smoke grenade does eventually enable this breach, but I mean, the bomb site is on the other side of the map, so that's really a nice first step. There's a lot yet to be done, and Shepard still maintains Archive's control.
I don't mind this from BDS. It is forcing a little bit of a reaction from Virtus Pro on the other side, as they are having to think about the pressure coming through from the back instead. Keep in mind that the core of this defense is once again the position inside of Expo, looking down the hatch. That's aided by the Castle of Always, who's sort of created a fortress on the interior of the map. Pasha, though, he's got an idea that someone is entering below him. That is Leaky Fack on the other side of the Visa double door, and it's going to hold this through the vertical.
Here comes the breach, and the impact lands despite crouching. Bride was not able to protect his exothermic charge, and this now means Alems is the only remaining hard breach, and he only has 6 pellets left, which will not be enough to make a walkable hole or even a crouchable hole on the main breach.
Technically, he can make like a funky crouch hole, if you know what I mean, like the you know,
a bit of a yikes one.
Yeah, a bit of a yikes one, as some might say in the comp setting. But here goes Bride anyway, in through Boiler. That being said, I don't think there's anyone there to just meet him on the other side yet. There are only 2 players on the bomb site as it stands. But keep in mind, what they really need to worry about is the vertical pressure from above. It's always above. And there goes Leaky Fack being taken down by Pasha.
Shaiko needs to win this fight, otherwise surely that's round done. However, he does take down Joystick, and now BDS have a salvageable position. However, time ticking on down means that they will require some massive picks. As Alems drops down into the side, he is able to trade out his teammate and get into a potential position to lock out a plant. Shepard, though, on the side, continues fighting tooth and nail. A flash comes his way, and Shaiko looks to plant. Alems the player to cover. Pasha comes back and takes down Shaiko, forcing Alems now to recollect that diffuser and fight for this round for BDS, but it does not look possible. 2 players from VP, and this should be a swift and easy denial there for Shepard. VP are not giving up as of yet, and they get within touching distance of BDS once again.
Oh man, BDS almost had that. At some point, Alems was dropping the Expo hatch, and I was like, how is Alems in the Expo room? How is he there? I always should have been there. And we didn't get to see it on cam, but at some point, Alems must have walked in through the ground floor off the back of Shaiko, getting his pick in the top floor, and managed to slaughter whatever defense was happening there. But the rest of the Virtus Pro players were able to recall themselves back onto the bomb site and take down the planter as it was going down. It really felt like BDS almost turned the tide there, but Virtus Pro, they kept their composure as the execute came through.
Well, it's a good start to the defense for VP, but it wasn't dominant at all, right? Like, that was a pretty touch and go round. Like you said, the fact that BDS were able to sneak some of their lurkers in really deep, and especially for Alems to be able to drop into sight and infiltrate VP's position, that's a scary notion for VP. But I'm not too worried as of yet. Like you said, Taylor 2 halves, and we haven't yet seen any of these other bomb sites. All we've seen is that garage one, and I have no idea how confident BDS are attacking this top floor.
I gotta say, it feels like, just from watching the first 7 rounds, that a lot of prep work has gone into this match between these 2 teams. Like, why is Pasha, with like 30 seconds left, still watching the Visa double door entry? Like, surely he knows that Leaky Fack is walking his way on through, and Leaky Fack on the other side's probably like, why is he still watching me doing this, you know? Especially on a operator like the Jackal as well. It just feels like somehow these 2 teams have got like such a good read on the style of attacks and like small entry points that can then turn the tide for the round.
That's the funny thing about lurking in Rainbow Six, right, at a professional level, because there's so much tape out there of how you like to play, and as a lurker you do develop habits and I guess preferences of I like to enter here, yeah, and routines, right? But the more routine you have, particularly in your lurking game, you become easier to read, because lurking is all about sneaking, and if they have a good read on where you might come from, you're likely to lose your life.
Top floor is going to be the second bomb side of choice for Virtus Pro, as Shaiko's going to send out a bit of utility down the stars to try and clear out long desk, but Pasha is going to open things up once again onto Leaky Fack. Oh man, Leaky Fack just cannot get away from Pasha in this attacking half, and well, Pasha's going to get away with his life as well.
That said, BDS have got a good stronghold here, and Alems is teasing out some kind of a push using these Sen's gadgets to obfuscate some of those lines of sight that VP would like to use. However, Dan does have his smart glasses, and he will take down Alems. I believe that may have indeed been through the screen. 3 versus 5 now. BDS have really hit a wall.
I think you'd absolutely be right about that, Dan. He has repositioned himself in that top Visa position, and he's looking for the swing out into the Soda hallway to try and support his teammate Always.
Yeah, but however, there is still another player in Vending Machine. I believe that is Always in a really important position for VP. Shaiko desperately just looking for a pick, but he's taken so much HP damage. Indeed, Always has now been droned by Brede. But just because BDS know where he is doesn't mean they can clear him.
Yeah, there's no way. There's 2 of the Dread Mines over on the 2 entry points that Always has got protecting himself at the moment. Renshiro is going to be brave about it and try and shoot one out. That's a nice shot. But Always is still safe in his position. As the time ticks away, it's looking more and more like a Virtus Pro round.
This is a good nade, though. It gets caught by the ADS. A beautiful setup from VP leaves BDS once again with more questions than answers. Always, he just needs to swing. And he's got a teammate as well to support. He's baiting, he's toying with him.
I just need help.
And he destroys Renshiro, looking for another one. Brede caught with his pants down. Shaiko must pick up the pieces for BDS, but he is simply being toyed with. Always knows full well he doesn't have to peek, but he may as well for the style points. Flawless for Virtus Pro, and the scoreline is even once again.
Yeah, I think BDS really got struck there. The 2 points of entry that they wanted to make work was the meeting balcony off the back of the Sens, and also then the push in through admin. And somehow, I think Dan was the perfect operator on the Warden, like you pointed out, to take the duel with the Sens. It was through the wall, out onto the meeting balcony. And then on the other side, Pasha from down below opens up the equation by claiming one of the kills on the players entering in from admin, and from there, they really just didn't quite have the manpower to make a a linear take like that work for them. BDS just had to sit still. Sorry, not BDS. Virtus Pro just had to sit still, be comfy, and wait for BDS to come through. And that was a really nice 3K from Always to close it out.
And I'm liking what we're seeing from Joystick here. He looks extremely relaxed here, just having some water. The BDS guys don't have too much of a reason to be glum at the moment. It's just 2 rounds of attack that they've failed to win in a row. And especially that round just gone by, right, Manny? That really was all about the early engagements, right? And here's one of them, Dan finding that big pick outside onto the balcony. For BDS, tighten the ship a little bit in those early rounds and ensure that you're not giving away these early man advantages, because on your attacks on Consulate, it's very difficult to bring back a 3v5.
Tough spot. I mean, in that instance, you know, you're down so much in the man count. Do you then go and dedicate yourselves to like continuing doing the admin side, or do you then need to go for plays or something like that? I don't know what it is for BDS at the moment, but nevertheless, we have had a bit of a technical break as we jump back into the server.
Sadly, it means we're actually going to lose all of Alem's stats, but that's okay.
Now,
I don't know how he was doing. I'm glad that we got to keep Leakerfax though, because I distinctly remember at the end of the first half, he was 8 kills to just 2 deaths. That is an insane scoreline on your defensive half. He was really at home there. He had some great roams, some great re-aggressions. But of course, since moving to the attack, not a single kill and 2 deaths. Fairly impactless early on for BDS.
and both of them to Pasha as well. Man, Pasha is just like the bane in this guy's existence. Now, this is the start of round 9. Question 1. Will Alems, not Alems, who is it again? Will Leaky Back make it into the building without being taken down by Pasha? That's question 1. Now then, question 2 after that is then can they actually make their way in through the map? Because when you play on Consulate, playing through the mid rounds can be really tricky. There are a lot of rooms to clear. There's a lot to get done if you want full map control.
And this particular bomb site as well, we saw VP do that beautiful execute with Joystick coming in from the console windows while the rest of the players pushed in meeting.
I just want to say, I think it's kind of happening again, yo. Leaky Fag is over on the yellow window at the moment, and Pasha is on the other side inside of Zulu. I'm saying it. It's happening. It's happening.
That is scary. If I'm Leakerfac, I want to be extra careful this round, especially because of the incandelas which lay in his pocket. They will be instrumental for executing, clearing out a lot of these positions. I wouldn't mind seeing Alems get his Twitch drone in. As I say that, here it comes. Now, of course, not only is he going to be looking for dread mines here, but pivotally, those mirror windows. There are, however, some mute jammers impeding his way forward. He is able to get in, but yeah, he doesn't quite get it.
Yeah, Pasha sitting on the other side of the mirror window is going to take down the Twitch drone, and that means, well, at least BDS know that they have this side of the top floor to their control, of course, from the admin side, but they're going to have to do a little bit more work if they want to claim CEO as theirs.
Okay, here come the Candelas. Where is the push from BDS? Alems has started to move on in. He's walking straight into a mirror window, but his smokes have dealt with that handily, forcing VP back. This is a very nice pinch. More Candelas and 2 kills for BDS as they dominate this top floor push. Shaiko has gone down, but he will be able to be picked up.
Really nice stuff. Mini execute into the top floor off the back of those Candela charges. And although Shaiko is down, like you pointed out, it is going to be safe pickup for Team BDS. And now it's a 5-on-3. Vertical game is in the hands of Renshiro right now as he tries to flush out the remaining players on the bomb site.
This is the next phase of the round for Renshiro, clearing out the bomb site. Alem's also getting information with the Twitch. Oh, he spots one player. This should be a free kill, more or less. However, Dan decides to recede back into the other bomb site. Bride looking for a little bit more information. VP, though, they're stealing their nerve and they're falling back. They know that if the timer moves down, they may be able to have a retake.
It looks like Bride is having a think about executing in onto the piano position. Renshiro is going to keep any of those flanks at bay. But as the time starts to tick away, BDS really needs to press the attack. The smoke is going to ring out to enable them to make their drop.
And Brie indeed looks to force that diffuser down. Joystick, he can see the plan, but he cannot deny it. It is on the hard floor. Always finds 1 kill and retakes top floor control. That means that this is very much a winnable retake for VP. However, BDS are looking to assume extremely safe post-plant positions. They're not looking to hunt kills. Leakafak on the top floor is hunting for always. Meanwhile, Joystick has found one. Shaiko looks to secure it, but Joystick's taken him down as well. Leakafak winning his fight up above, makes it to 1v1.
Oh, Leakafak.
Joystick, is he able to stick it? He baits out for just a moment. Joystick once again has to retry. There is no time on the clock for a second chance. Leakafak does not die early. Indeed, he finds the final kill for BDS in the round.
Very nice impact player there. Come the execute. I really want to point out the intricacies of Bride's execute as well. We saw it a really nice free cam. He actually planted on the one bit of marble that was in the border of the room to make sure that Joystick down below could not deny the plan as it went down. And that little bit of detail that they took care of as they went in for the execute was, to be honest, what I believe won them the round. Joystick, he had a nuts retake, man. Like 2 or 3 kills to his name. You know, if the execute didn't go down as cleanly as it did, you could very easily see that being a Virtus Pro round.
Yeah, time to fire up for VP, because BDS has shown that they do have what it takes to fight fire with fire. VP on their attacks, a lot of explosive mini executes like we saw on the top floor. BDS can do the exact same thing. We saw that with this push from Leakafak and Alems. And while there are some moments of greatness from VP, like this insane 3K from Joystick, we need to see a lot more than that. I mean, some gnarly shots. This guy really has fired up. I think he took what the analyst was saying personally. But of course, Leakafak on the other side has done even better. He's currently on 12 kills after a 4K that round.
Nuts job so far for BDS to keep pace with Virtus Pro on their second half. Now we're going to see ourselves down into the basement bomb side as Leakafak, Heartbreach in charge, is going to make this wall work off the back of a grenade, but that gets impact tricked first of all. Dan's got one more, so surely he's going to play the trick game twice, but there are 3 summers and only 2 impacts, so surely Leakafak's going to get away with this one.
Well, Shepard does have impacts, and he comes over just out of the nick of time. He also misses his impact. He will be able to take down the second explosion from that summer, so this will not be a walkable or even crouchable or vaultable hole for BDS.
It is just a hole, not an exciting one. Anyway, that sounds really wrong. I'm never saying that again. I'm sorry. Anyway, the rest of BDS, though, having lost the breach minigame, they have to think about the rest of the map instead. And so the clear has to happen, but it's pretty extensive from Virtus Pro. They've gone through all 3 floors of the map, and there's a lot for BDS to take apart.
Bride is going to use one of his hard breach charges to open up this flank wall for Visa entrance. And that'll go down into archives, which is a very nice extra way to put pressure on the site. However, you need a lot more than that. to pull off a successful attack. Speaking of, a lot of roam game still very present, and the way that the castle has changed the architecture of the map around that expo room does make it very awkward for BDS, even if they do get in to look for a plant.
Shyko getting a little bit of info going into the bomb side off the back of the Gemini, but Dan is going to be the one to keep it at bay.
Oh, here we
They're actually
go.
going to hit a hard breach charge on the wall as well, so no matter what, they really want there to be a vaultable hole going into the bomb site. That being said, though, there goes Alems into the ground floor to take down Always. That was the player that was holding onto the expo hatch. Shyko as well having a look into the bomb site.
Oh, aggressive from Dan, but he loses the fight to Shyko, who will not give up, and here comes the execute for BDS. Candelas go through. Leakafak has somehow snuck his way right into the backer side. Pasha above. He does not have the angle as Bride looks to stick it. Oh, but barely. He lands a couple of bullets into the feet, but it's far too little. And now the timer is ticking away. Oh, what a shot onto Shyko. Pasha is turned up for 3 more players and only 30 seconds to find each of them.
Tough spot now for Pasha, who's been pretty good in this game so far, but probably not good enough to land the 1 versus 3. Bride is going to round the corner with the Ying and take him out.
Wow. Another great attack from BDS puts them in pole position. This may be VP's map pick, but BDS have found themselves on match point.
Solid attack as well from BDS. They really kept VP guessing what they were going to do there. They put so much utility onto the wall. I almost thought that they'd squandered their wealth of utility trying to get the main breach open. But while all of that was going down, it was really nice of Alems to be able to inject himself inside of the ground floor and take down 2 of the roamers that were sort of loitering around that expo fortress that you were speaking about a little bit earlier. Not just that, but even off the back of that, Bride went, okay, I've got the Yin Candelas now. There's really only 1 more person on the bomb site. That was Dan, and they managed to flood him as they went in for the execute. Actually, they didn't flood Dan. They flooded the player behind that inside the kitchen because Dan went and got aggressive onto Shyko as well. And pretty much off the back of the 2 or 3 picks that they got somewhere in through the mid-round, it was go time for them, and they went for it.
What's funny is if Dan does win that 1 versus 1 against Shyko, who, by the way, was like finishing a reload, then I think the round goes the opposite direction. Dan could have saved that for VP. He made the right play, but he lost the fight. This was also a beautiful play from Alems upstairs. He used his Ash breaching round to open up a long line of sight. It doesn't matter that there's a castle barricade there. He's got a massive opening into that room on top of the bomb site, and as a result, he could clear out those roamers very handily. VP looking a little dejected after that round loss, but they can spring back into it. They've just taken their tactical timeout, and they've also changed their bomb site choice.
That really was a very nice Alems and Shyko round for them to double down on their picks and open it up in the early game. That being said, Dev, I gotta say, I feel like between these two teams, the early game has really been the dictator, I would say, of every single one of these rounds. I don't know what your stats are going to say, but it really does feel like whoever claims the opening, I would say the opening 2 picks, is then able to convert the round. And it doesn't matter what side it is or what team it is, but it certainly feels that way at the moment.
Indeed it does. Now, the curious thing for me, Mandy, is the bomb site that VP have decided to go for is actually the first one that they lost on their defense, right? Like, we're going to Expo and Lobby. This is a very dangerous one. BDS had a great attack onto this bomb site, and it was only barely close because of a 3K from Joystick. We've seen a few changes, like the mirror is still present, for example, but the Capcan comes out in tandem with the Frost, so banking on some traps having an impact in the late round. I'm not sure if BDS will fall into this. I think that VP might have the wrong read.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, I don't know. I feel like this could kind of work against BDS, right? They're all going to sit outside the building. So the moment that they get inside the building is only then when they're going to be able to clear all the traps, right? So all the frost mats, all the Capcan traps, and whatever it might be is going to remain standing in this early phase. And if they want to go in for an explosive execute, that's something they have to worry about, as well as getting the kills down as well. I don't know. I feel like Virtus Pro have got what they need here to shut down the rush.
Well, here it comes in. Shyko jumps straight on in, but he does lose his life. There might not have been any traps on that door, but it seems like Joystick himself was ready to spring into action. Pasha has gone down to Leakafak. A bit of revenge there as Renshiro makes his way towards Split, finds Joystick. Numbers even once again.
Shepard's going to toss out a C4 back of the Sens wall, but Brede isn't there to meet him. BDS have taken a little bit of a step back. That being said, Leaky Fact trying to claim another one through the top of yellow. Doesn't quite land the shots onto Shepard, and he'll take him down. It's just Brede left in the 1-on-3.
Information. Oh, so close. He does a bit of damage, but not quite enough with that wall bang. Another one! The yellow ping to always his demise, as Shepard has a good position, but he doesn't want to overcommit here. He says, I cannot give another 1 versus 1. Brede uses the send screen to roll on through and give himself an opportunity to rotate out. Now Dan and Shepard. By the way, Shepard is low HP. They've both fallen back towards the bomb site, but still are separated. This is so winnable for Brede. He has to play it perfectly.
He doesn't have that much time though, 40 seconds, so a little bit to try and get some drone work done. But the two players of Virtus.pro are playing in pretty safe positions as it stands. The drone's going to be shot out. Oh, Brede looking for a vertical kill onto Shepard, but he's just in this little bit of safety on the other side of that doorway.
He will indeed have to jump straight on through down this hatch. Dan's watching the angle and can spray him through. VP, hold on once again. One more round, and overtime will be on the cards.
Solid round there from VP. I liked what BDS tried to do to change the tempo in the final round and go for something quick and explosive. But Virtus.pro were ready for that on the other side. It just really felt like the setup that Virtus.pro had going in the top floor was so much of a fortress that BDS couldn't quite pick it apart. And as the entry kills didn't quite work out their way, Virtus.pro really shut them down. It was a tough spot for Brede to then try and come back from.
Well, at least BDS look quite relaxed. Sometimes you see teams get so close and start fumbling, and the tension is palpable, and you think that that anxiety is going to creep into their gameplay. But I think from just looking at the facial expressions, the body language of BDS, I wouldn't be too worried for them. They still have a really solid shot of closing this out in regulation.
Back up to the top floor we go for Virtus.pro. Now, last time we saw them play this always got a very nice 3K through the soda hallway as BDS was shut down pretty early before they even got there. Hopefully this time around, if BDS look for a similar clear, they can find a little bit more success. I like the swap from Renshiro to get off the sledge and go into the Flores instead. I mean, Lickpack's going to pick up the sledge anyway. But it does mean that with those Rotero drones, you can remotely try and clear out the setup that's gone down inside of the soda hallway. The shields, the Fenrir devices, whatever you might need to clear, Flores is there to try and solve that.
Reload.
Lems is in the building really early on this gridlock, down below the bomb site. Nades in pocket. He's actually going to use his tracks to cover off his flank, but Pasha has been unattended on the other side. I think Lems is wary and watching for this angle.
Bit of a dance going on in the ground floor as I think Leaky Fact's going to try and double down on this position as well. They know that Pasha's down here and they want to take the 2 versus 1 onto him and at least claim the early rounds or the first pick for themselves.
Oh, here comes Leakafak. Nay, this is just to clear the barbed wire. That does give him an option. An expensive piece of utility to expend, but especially when it takes a sledgehammer to clear out the rest of it. VP are just very patient here. They've completely seeded the entire ground floor where BDS have lapped up the map control but failed to really achieve a lot with that.
The Rotero drone though, that's a nice one. That's taken down the shield that I believe was inside the double door itself. Pasha as well, starting to feel the pressure. A player rounding the corner, that's Leaky back, and they can finally claim the one that they were looking for.
Big opener for BDS. Dan upstairs. Once again, just looking for a safe haven, looking for solid ground that will not be erupted from these nades as Shaiko starts to make his way up the stairs.
Ooh, this is sneaky beaky from Shaiko. I don't know if anyone's watching on the other side. I think it's only Joystick inside of CEO that might have an angle onto this position. Okay, he is kept at bay for now by the barbed wire. It's actually Shepard on the other side that's going to keep him accountable. Meanwhile, though, oh, Shaiko, it doesn't matter. He lands the shots onto Joystick anyway.
2-player advantage, BDS. Shepard now has a tumultuous task ahead. 2 gas babes remain as the flashes come out. He looks to hold on with the shotgun. Elsewhere, the action will go down. Always finds VP's first kill of the round. And Dan the second. 3-on-3 now, BDS are letting it slip. It's falling out. Overtime may well be on the cards.
Shaiko as well, feeling the smoke, babe. Keep him at bay. Where are the rest of his teammates? The push has got to come through from the back, and there goes Leaky Fack.
And Leaky Fack has been the best player in this game, but he backs straight up into Always. BDS found the first 2 picks, but since then, there has been nothing. Brede now with no chance of planting. 1 versus 3. Virtus Pro can sit back, relax, knowing full well overtime is on the cards.
Really composed round there from Virtus Pro. BDS tried to keep them guessing throughout the entire round. They sent 2 or 3 players down into the ground floor. Yes, they were able to take out Pasha, but then they couldn't convert it from there. Always is absolutely relentless in the soda hallway. He's immortal in his position behind that one vending machine, and no matter what happens, all fronts of the BDS attack did not work. Shaiko's push up the yellow says, yes, he claimed joystick, but he got taken down. On the side of the soda hallway as well, yes, they were able to eventually get control inside of there, but then Dan and Always shut them down with a crossfire. It just felt like in the final 30 seconds of the round, BDS, they tried to go for this multifaceted take into the top floor, hoping that someone on Virtus Pro would not be paying attention to them, but Virtus Pro was so composed that they were looking at every single point of entry and being really calm about it.
Wow. We looked for a moment at Leaky Fack's camera, and he was just going off at his teammates. I have no idea what he's saying, but he was just talking so much. I mean, here's Shaiko coming in as well. Wow. Very high energy. I was saying before that BDS looked very relaxed, and I think that has really flipped. They've just fumbled 2 map points in a row to VP, especially that one, losing a 5 versus 3. And now I can only imagine that the BDS crowd will start barking at each other. Orders left, right, and center. The blame game may start to creep in. They have to ignore that. I mean, just look at Leaky Fack. He looks pissed.
Nah, that's not the attitude that you gotta take, especially when SI is on the cards for these guys. This is a must-win series. Yes, if they lose a map 1, they still have 2 more maps to have a chance at bringing it back, but really, this is the map that you want to start things out on, set the momentum going through the rest of the series.
Loading mag.
And what's more, BDS once again start on that attacking side here in overtime. They were so good on their defense. They really held at bay a lot of those rushes from VP. But I think after 2 failed attacks in a row, a third looking into overtime is a huge ask for the French.
Jumping into overtime, VP are going to start out on the defense, and having the overtime reset does mean that they can jump back into the top floor. Now, both times that they've defended this, it has been overwhelmingly successful, I will say, for Virtus Pro. They look so comfortable on this bomb site, and it doesn't look like they've changed all too much about their strategy. I dare say they haven't changed anything about their strategy, except for Pasha, who is no longer in the ground floor because he doesn't want to get hunted down and is going to sit in the corner of break room instead.
Oh, VP. They must be exuding confidence right now. Pasha in particular in an aggressive position. He was prone. He was looking to make a bit of a ratty play. He decided better of it. I think it's the right choice to do so. And now he actually falls all the way back. So he's delayed a bit of time. Half the round is gone, Mandy, but BDS really have not made enough headway to be satisfied.
Mid-round really matters now for BDS. They've got a couple sets of explosives that they can send in to try and deal with the setup of Always in the hallway. Always has just been absolutely the bane of this defense for BDS as they try to land this attack. Ooh, bit of a cheeky claymore as well to make sure that Always cannot push too far away from the soda machine, but nevertheless, he is still in his safe haven.
Leaky Fack has been the difference maker in this game for BDS. If he can have a big round, then it could be a 3rd match point for the French team. And with nobody playing in that position behind the vending machine for VP, BDS are looking poised to once again march on forward. Here comes Alems.
Much better clear as well. The util flood worked to perfection for BDS as they are finally able to clear the shield. But look at the time. Only 40 seconds left. They've taken a full 2 minutes to make this clear work. And Pasha through the floor is trying to claim the life of Leaky Fack. But Leaky Fack thinks nothing of it as he climbs his way up the spiral stairs and is going to continue the duel.
Pasha's got the info. He's got the pre-fire position. He has the better position. Leakerfact looking to bait him out with the shoulder peek. Shaiko elsewhere finds the first kill. Leakerfact has the full read. Shaiko's gone big. Pasha, though, comes up the stairs, finds one. Joystick finally puts Shaiko's reign of terror to an end. And Lems goes down as well. Renshiro, the last one standing. He's found one, but he must find Pasha. It's not going to happen unless he rounds the corner with the pistol. Renshiro! How on earth does he do it? 7 years playing this game, and he is still damn insane.
What a massive round from Renshiro that it almost looked like Virtus Pro had such a grip on the top floor bomb site. But BDS said, okay, we haven't got a lot of time, but that means it's go time. And as it ticked down into the red phase of the round, they sent themselves straight into the bomb site. They played the trade game, and they came out on top because of heroics from Renshiro.
The clutch player steps up when he is called upon. A standing ovation would be deserved. He stood up himself. Man. Well-deserved fist pump from Stuflex after that round. Holy moly. VP are looking defeated. They might have already staved off 2 match points, Mandy, but a third after being clutched on like that seems like too big of an ask.
Oh, really nice shots from Shaiko as well. We're just seeing this come out on the replays. Renshiro, he collected 2 for himself, and then Shaiko collected 2 for himself. I mean, Renshiro actually collected the 3K in the round, so the 2 players, 2 of the, I would say, the entry players doubling down on the kills to make that execute work. Really good stuff from BDS. Oh man, Pasha, he's so upset. He's like, oh no.
Who was it? Was it always the last? No, it was Pasha.
That was Pasha, yeah.
Oh man.
Poor lad.
Head in hands. Renshiro might only have 8 kills, but he's had almost as much of an impact as Leakerfact with a round like that, especially if BDS can convert this match point. It tells you so much about the current state of VP. To be able to come back from getting clutched on like that would mean so much for Virtus Pro.
Now, I don't understand a lot of French, but in between these 2 rounds, they did make a comment about something about it being a fast piano. So it does make me think that they have the read, that Virtus Pro are sort of cutting corners a little bit on this roam clear. There are no players in the top floor, but there are 2-3 players of Virtus Pro at the moment on the attack, trying to entry in from the ground floor, and Alems has got the read on the player outside the double window. But Dan is going to take him down instead, so the duel so far going in the way to Virtus Pro.
Doesn't matter if you've got the read, if you don't have the mechanics to back it up, and Alems, by a hair's breadth, misses that opportunity. VP have the advantage.
The rest of the BDS players, though, still holding on to the ground floor. The only player all the way in the top floor, it is Leakyfact, who is going to take the duel into a player on drones on the other side. Joystick caught with his pants down on his ankles, and Leakyfact is going to collect yet another kill. 16-7 is the scoreline for this guy.
Leakerfact is having a life game at the moment, and he is fired up about it. Dan's gone down, and the advantage has flipped on its head once again.
Check in PC. What was that? He just landed the craziest headshot on Sudan inside a lobby. What on earth? Dan is probably like in shock right now. Absolutely no way that should have happened. Here goes Always tearing up the floor from a floor above inside of meeting. But Shaiko's gonna have a bit of a safe haven inside of closet. Oh, they don't know. They have no idea.
Oh, this is so scary. Shaiko! He can find 2, potentially! 1 on a Pasha, he'll be kicking himself. And now with the shotgun, Always needs to trade, but Shaiko does not need to move at all. There goes the stun and the kill to go through for Always. Bring it back into the realm of possibility, but that realm, that window is closing for VP. A C4 to go out for Renshi. Shepard in a 1 versus 3 against BDS. 25 seconds remain. A goo mine in foot and no hope in hell. A nice shot onto Renshi. 2 more to find, but Leakerfact still survives. Another goo mine in foot. He's got no options. He has to make the difficult choice to send his body on through, but waiting on the other side is Leakerfact. A life game. VP crushed their SI promise in EU, but now BDS is coming for their playoffs in Atlanta.
And such a solid final round as well for BDS to close it out. Cool, calm, and composed. They had the read onto what BDS were doing, and they took the necessary gunfights to do it. Shaiko looking for a high-risk, high-reward play in what is potentially the final round.